Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into it. Looking at Forex Factory, today is a Thursday. We do have high impact news on the USD, which is the core PCE price index and the final GDP. So let's look at the charts. Let's see what to expect. So price has been pushing up. Okay, so in this past few days, price has been pushing up. So what we see is we've mitigated. We've come into this imbalance. And then this supply zone, and there's the supply zone at the top where price could reach. Okay. So what we have is we eliminated the area of supply that was here. Okay, so price pushed through, took out all the sellers that were in this area. Okay, and now this is what we have. So we do have an area of supply. So I'm just gonna cover that so that we have a general area. Okay, so that's our general area of supply right there. And then in terms of our demand, this is currently the demand in control. Okay, and then obviously we have this area as well. So this is the origin of this strong push that eventually led to the break of this push up. Okay. So on the daily, pretty much we could be on our way, right, to mitigate this. Maybe have a reaction before continuing bullish or continuing a downtrend. And then on the pound dollar, okay, we've had our structure breaks on the internal, which is bearish, but now we're starting to see supply areas fail. Okay, even by the slightest. Okay, so supply areas has failed, and then we swept these relative equal highs. Well, we swept this high, and then we've created relative equal highs right there as well. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that. As a place of interest. Okay. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So right now there's nothing much to read on the daily chart. Okay, except of course we're still bearish in terms of the overall internal trend. Okay, well, internal momentum is still bearish. This is price pushing up. Okay, now internally we've had a structure shift, okay, to bullish. Okay, but in terms of the internal dynamics, it's still bearish. So this could be the first signs that price is now ready to continue bullish. Okay, this could be the signs that price is now ready to continue bullish. So let's look at the 4-hour, and let's look at the Euro USD. So overall, this is what we have. This is our swing range. Boom, boom. Okay, so we know where our swing range is, and then internally this is now strong low. We've had a break of structure. After break of structure, we expect some kind of pullback. Okay, so we could pull back maybe into this area. Who knows? Okay, we could pull back into those areas. So on the 4 hour, we have nothing clear at the moment. We don't have anything that's very clear. So I'll just mark this area as an area of interest for the moment. Okay. So what we do have though is we do have this fractal structure. So let me just cover this like that. Okay. So all of this area is an area of interest. All right. So price could push down. Okay, maybe mitigate this area if it decides to reach. If it doesn't, it could push down anywhere in here and then switch bullish. We don't know. So let's look at the 15-minute, see maybe what we can be looking for today. So obviously yesterday I was saying that price could reach any of these areas and have a and reverse. Okay, so price took out that first high and had a reaction. Okay, had a reaction on lower time frames. That could have been enough for the 1 to 3. Okay, when price came back to mitigate and then continued. Okay, and then came back up, mitigated the second one. All right, had a sweep right around our key time window and then eventually continue down. So this would have been the better trade. Okay, that would have been the better trade. Okay, so now looking ahead, looking on to today, so we've already swept these lows. Okay, and then we continued lower, and then we've come up, and then price is stuck within this range at the moment, and then we do have all this this gap that needs to be filled, and then we potentially have this demand at the bottom there. So I could be waiting for wait for price to come into any of these areas at the bottom. Just here. Right, so we could wait for price to come into any of these areas. So what do we have right now? So right now we know that supply is in control. After a break of structure, we expect a pullback. So we had a break of structure. Okay, so we had price push up, come down, break structure to the upside, mitigate, break structure again to the upside, and then now we've had a break of structure breaking below both of those lows. Okay, so we now have a new range that is bearish from this high, this high, this low. And then what we have, let's see. So this is the decisional. This is where price is reacting to at the moment. And then we have all of that. And then that is the extreme. So everywhere here, price has pulled back to mitigate. So what we could wait and see. Is possibly, okay, so we do have this area. I'm just gonna mark it out. Okay, that's a 15. So I might want to see price come in and mitigate. So do we have any sweeps? Okay, so price has already swept this high, previous day high, right there. So that's a 15-minute sweep. Okay, so we already have a sweep. So what that means is if we have a break of structure here, if we have a break of structure there, then I could be looking now for price to come up, possibly mitigate this area, and then look for continuation lower. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking at right now. Okay, anything for longs? There's nothing clear for longs. There is nothing clear for longs. Yeah, so at the moment there's nothing clear for longs except maybe when price comes down and maybe mitigates this area, and then we can start looking for longs. As it stands, I might be expecting a sweep of these lows, price comes back up, mitigates anywhere in here, up to here, right, or like that. Okay, and then start looking for shorts. So that would be my trade idea for today for the Euro USD. So looking at the pound, they're not so different. So I'm not going to take much time on this one. So on the pound, this is our range. Okay. This is our range. That's our range. Price came up, swept that range. Now it's come back down. Okay. So we could expect to see continuation, maybe to fill this gap. All right, maybe towards these areas at the bottom. Okay. So that's what I could be looking at on the 4-hour. So I'm just gonna cover this area. Okay, so that's a strong internal. So that has been swept, and we've had a bit of a strong reaction coming down. So expectation is that price will continue to drop, maybe towards these areas at the bottom. We do have all this gap. Okay, so yeah, so looking at the top, 15-minute swing, price on 15-minute, we had a break of structure. Okay, we had a break of structure. This is being mechanical, so we had a break of structure, 15M. So we've had a 15-minute break. I can remove all of that. And then this becomes my week. Now becomes my week. Swing high, which makes Okay, which makes this low my swing strong. So 15-minute swing structure has shifted bullish. Okay, so 15-minute swing strong, and then internal remains as it is. Okay, it's remaining as it is for the time being. And then we've broken structure. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. Okay, so we have that. All right, so we broke structure. We broke structure, or we could call it a sweep. Okay, and then we've had price come down, and then this internal structure we've changed character, broken structure. So now we are pretty much bearish, and then we have relative equal lows. Okay, to target. So we have relative equal lows to target. Now it is possible we could price would come down, sweep these, have a bit of a reaction, maybe come up to these areas. Okay, it is possible. Our price could simply start by pushing up into this area, sweep this high, and maybe sweep this one as well, and then after taking out all the resting liquidity up there, then possibly price starts coming down. So we don't know. So those are kind of the possibilities at the moment of what price could do. If it takes out this low and then comes up, then we might be targeting this high or Asia high. Okay, if it doesn't, if it starts by coming up and mitigating this or taking out this high, then we could be going low, targeting Asia low. Okay, so those are my trade ideas for today. At least how I'm seeing price possibly playing out. Otherwise, there is room for price to keep on going down to mitigate maybe this 4-hour demand. Okay, or at least fill this area here. Okay. All right. So other than that, that's my trade ideas for today. So please, if you find value in this material, do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know. Otherwise, have a great day, and Working Trader out.